Hey everyone, welcome to another segment of the Broken Meeple and the Broken Meeple and Every Night is Board Game Night collaboration of the top 100 games, co-op games of all time. Gotta get that right. Well, this is continuing the video series that we've been doing. Again, this will be in audio form on his podcast, in video form on this channel. This is now going through the games 40 to 21, and we are really getting into passionate territory now, because these are games where the odd one might have a big disparity, like someone really loves it and the other person doesn't like it anywhere near as much, but we're into games now where each of us have played them and each of us still enjoy them or have a lot to say about them. We're going to get very high and passionate about these games, whether we like them or not. So, there's some good debating in this one. And just as a little treat for you, there's an interesting little blooper at the start of this video. There was an interesting part where we were just about to, we were about to start recording, and just as I start record, he gets a phone call. And the sheer sort of like timing of it and just the idea of this could be a really good blooper means that he's passionately just talking to somebody on the phone, and I'm there basically like trying not to laugh in the little small screen in the background, and then we just have a big laugh about it afterwards. So as a special treat, you can have that little blooper at the start, and then we'll get on with the list. See you next time, guys. I've had the old people moment. It's like, oh yeah, video's an hour long, that's too long or something. Well, an hour and a half is just going to be ridiculous. So it's like, I'll split it into two 45 minutes and just literally have like, when you get to the first 10, it just says, join us in part 2, and then the second one will be up.
Okay, so just 10 chunks, right? Chunks of 10? Okay.
Chunks of 10 or halfway mark, depending on what the time is.
Okay.
All right. Off we
go. Oh, God. Hold on.
Oh, God, now you...
Hello, Mother. I'm home, but I'm working right now. I'm working very hard. It's a very important project. I'll call Melissa. You can call Melissa. Actually, yeah, you know what? Do it later. We'll do it around 6. 6. Okay. All right, I'll call you at 6. Okay, bye.
Oh, just
that in the bloopers.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that same thing. I just thought, I'm recording this still. That is so a blooper. Hello, mother. And just me trying not to crease. All right. Okay.
All right. We got it.
Professionals.
Oh my God. Hey everybody, welcome back to Top 100 Cooperative Games with myself, Jason, from the Every Night is Game Night podcast. I'm here with your friend and mine, Luke Hector, the Broken Meeple. Say hi to the peoples.
Say hi, guys.
There it is. Cool. All right, so we are chugging along. You've heard it. Hopefully you've been with us for this entire journey. We are now going to go through probably our favorite parts of the list. Well, not probably. The games are just getting better and better. We are going through 40 through 21 today. Is that what we're going through? That's what we're going through.
40 through 21, and I'm going to bet money that half the people have skipped to this part. But if you've been with us for the whole journey, then we thank you, we applaud you, but we won't hold it against you if you're one of the many who I know skipped to the last couple.
That's right. So we did some, a lot of hidden gems and, decent games you may never have heard of towards the bottom half of the list. The last episode is really fun because we got into some good arguments between games that we've rated really highly and the other person rated very low or not at all. This part of the list, for the most part, is going to be games that we both enjoy. There is going to be some difference of opinion, though, so look out for that. So one thing to note before we get started is this is the part of the list. It just so happened to be this way. There are 4 games that have cooperation, which according to our definition that we count those as cooperative games, but they are either one versus many games or hidden trader games or whatever that is. If that bothers you, once again, go to our video that we will make about games that missed our list. Plenty of co-ops on there. Slap those on there. Ignore the all those other weirdo games. Well, you're going to get 100 co-op games one way or another. So we are going to start off with another very profound disagreement between Luke and I. I'm surprised I rated this game at all, to be honest with you. But I'm going to let Luke break his back again and tell you about Marvel Legendary, our number 40.
I don't have to break my back, actually, on this time, because I was intelligent enough to bring it closer to the webcam. So this will be a lot easier. Because now I can just take the webcam off the computer and just show people. A lot easier. But yeah, I rate this a 7. You know, this is like 7th favorite co-op, and he puts it at 95.
95? How did I put it so high?
And you give me jib about Mage Knight last time.
God, let's see it. Let's see it in all its glory.
See if I get a few things down there. Whoop. There
Look
it is.
At the size of that box, that's like a 7-layer cake over there.
It is ridiculous with how much is in this thing. It is crazy.
Good God, man. Is that every set?
That is Legendary Marvel, that is Alien, that is Predator, that is Firefly. I will not in any way, shape or form ever own Buffy. I'm sorry, I draw the line at Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but
is it all of Marvel? Is it like Deadpool, Guardians of the Galaxy, Fantastic Four, all that nonsense?
I think it has. I mean, there's like more rulebooks and mats and stuff. The only 2 expansions, I think, because, I mean, this one is Legendary Marvel, just to make it clear.
Right.
We'll get onto other Legendaries later, but spoiler alert.
Right.
But this one is Marvel. I am a big Marvel DC fan. I love my superheroes, and I know that this doesn't look like much in the moment. That's because this one is just Firefly. And Firefly takes up very little space or something, so it's kind of like, okay, I've got some spare thing.
There it is.
Well, actually, that's, nope, that's Alien and Predator. I kid you not, the other 2 shelves are where you get Marvel.
We got 20 more games to go, my man. So just tell us why you love this game so much.
Yeah, I'm not going into all that, but basically you can see why there's a lot of Legendary there. Let's get that back up there. Sweet. Was it why it's Marvel? It's a deck builder with all your favorite Marvel characters. I mean, if you're not a Marvel fan, then fair enough. There's not as much for you with this. But for me, you know, the first when I played the base set, it's like, oh, I get to play these particular heroes I like against Magneto, and this was one of my first entries to deck builders. So it's like, oh, cool, this is a new concept after Dominion. Now I've got Dominion deck building, but with a theme I can go for, even if it is, you know, slightly abstracted in places. But as it's gone on, I don't own every Marvel expansion. There was one called Fear Itself, which was a weird one for villains, and I don't own Deadpool because I like the movies, but the whole comic thing and the way it's all, there was some really jokey cards in that set, and I wasn't a big fan. But yeah, I mean, Noir, I've got the Guardians of the Galaxy, got the Fantastic Four, got the Secret Wars, even though I know nothing about those comics, Civil War, you name it, I've got all the other expansions in there. That's why it's 2 shelves in that box.
Yeah, you could sell Fantastic Four. People are looking for that one. It's out of print.
I know, but no, I've got it. Mine. Yeah, it's a deck builder with Marvel. I can basically choose any, and I got the villain stuff as well. So I can choose pretty much any scenario I fancy, any boss, any, like, even the ones I've never read in the comic strip. You know, I've probably learned more about Marvel lore just going, these guys look interesting. Hang on, let me just Wikipedia this, and then I find out a bit more. And it makes me want to check out a few of the comics, like Secret Wars and the original Civil War. It's just, I can pick any setting I like, choose my heroes, let them go at each other, tend to play this solo, but occasionally with 2 to 3 players. Of course, they have to come here, because that is one thing about this and the Arkham Horror ones. I can't really take that box anywhere, so I have to accept that this is pretty much staying here. But then 90% of the time I will play the Legendary games solo. So I actually don't really care too much. I just get the shelves off the thing and get the cards I need, slap a game down, do it on the playmat, and I'm done. But yeah, a load of people like this. But if you're not a Marvel fan, I can understand why this would just completely go bleh over people's heads.
So tell me, Luke, why don't I like this game if I don't like Marvel? Why don't I like this game if I don't like Marvel? Just tell me.
Do you not like Marvel though?
I like Marvel. I love. I grew up on Infinity Gauntlet and X-Men and all kind of stuff. Just quickly, I just think the balance in this game is out of whack. I think the games, you can have games where like a giant card just kind of float in there, turn two, and it's like, oh, this was not a thing that I could do ever. Like with just basically no chance. Like, and that's like part of the deal when you have expansions after expansion after expansion, just mixing and matching and shuffling. I imagine that it's impossible to balance this game. Whenever I play it, it's just this bloated, either it's 2 hours and I lose, which is way too long for deck builder, way too long.
Who are you playing this with for 2 hours?
Or it's 20 minutes and I lose. Well, if you play 4 players at like a game night or something, it's like,
yeah.
oh, whatever. It is not a well-balanced game. It's fun for the theme. Without the theme, I just think this is,
yeah, but
I still rated it 90. I put it this way. I am so much of a Marvel fan. I rated this game at all.
Yeah. I was like, it's not exactly balanced, no, especially with all the expansions. I mean, occasionally you get the really hard settings, you get the really easy ones, and sometimes you get some in the middle. But yeah, I get what you mean about it being too long with that many players. In fact, it's usually recommended that if you play this with 4 or 5 players, you're pretty much going to lose, guaranteed, and it will go on too long. This is why I pretty much say the max count I play this with is 3. Ideally, I just play it myself anyway. I might even play two-handed, so I have like 2 separate heroes or 3 separate heroes and let it go like that. But yeah, I'd never do 4 and 5. But yeah, it gives me a good hour of fun. But yeah, so not for everyone.
That is Marvel Legendary. Although I will say, I do love the IP, love the implementation, love the flexibility of it. So that's why I rated it at all. Anyway, so number 39. This was rated way more highly on my list. This was my number 16. Luke's number 85. Escape. This
not to steal your limelight. What is it?
I can't.
Yep. I'll do it again. I'm stealing your show.
I'm presenting a game.
No, nobody wants to know about Escape. There you go. There you go. Two boxes full of cards. There you go.
Oh my god.
All right.
Is that enough? You spent 20 minutes talking about stupid Legendary. Well,
this only takes 5 minutes to play. It'll only take you 2 minutes to talk about it.
It's true. It's very true. You're right. 10 minutes to you. Yeah, so this is Escape. This is the big box. The big box is completely unnecessary. Don't get it. Even if it's on sale or whatever it is. You could just get the base box and a couple of expansions and you're good. Real-time dice rolling game. You start off as adventurers, and then you have your little adventure meeples and everything. And it has like the Indiana Jones hat. You start off in one tile, and then you're slowly expanding the tiles based purely on what you roll, and you are furiously rolling. You have to roll movement, you have to roll searches, you have to roll things to unlock gems and all that kind of stuff. So you're searching this area, and you really are cooperating, because like there's certain symbols, if you roll them, then you're barking out to your friends going, hey, I rolled this crappy symbol, can I have the awesome symbol to help me out? Sure. So then you pair off and you work on stuff. Very, very cooperative, very, very fast, very, very fun. And then I think twice during the soundtrack, you get a gong, and then you have to go back to the entrance or go back to like a safe spot. So you're running, rolling furiously, and then once the thing happens, you calm down, you try to explore again. Really awesome rhythm. That's a really underrated part of the game. In the last 10 minutes, it's so stressful. I like it better than Fuse. Fuse is a good game, and it was earlier on my list. Very, very similar. But I just think there's more to work with, and I think the more is very well integrated. So I'm a big fan of Escape. It still hits my table to this day. Go for it. It was only your 86 or something like that? 85. Yeah, you 85. Like it well enough, but what?
Well, I give it props. It's an alright co-op, but I mean, I don't go mad for the timed games, with some exceptions like the XCOM one before and that. And this one is just pure chaos. It's you basically just put the soundtrack on. You roll a bunch of dice. Half the time you don't know whether anyone's actually done it correctly, because
the possibility for cheating is very large in this game.
Yeah, huge potential for cheating, huge potential for human error. Might just not realize, oh yeah, I've done that bit wrong. And I can't actually think of a time when, in the few times I have played it, where I've ever lost. I know it's meant to be a simple co-op, but I feel like I've sort of just frantically rolled dice and then I'll win. So I didn't go as mad for it, but I'm not probably not the target audience for it. I think this is better with families and younger ones anyway, so I still give it props as a co-op. It's just not one that I really gravitated towards. And yeah, I don't see how the big box is really meant to help.
Escape challenges. If it's too easy, go down this nice chart over there. You got all the challenges that you want, sir. There you go. There's tons of challenges. You're playing it on the easy
escape, mode. Is it? Yeah.
All right, so that is Escape, our number 39. Number 38. Okay, so this is one where I actually thought on we made the list, and on reflection, I think we messed up a little bit. I think there should be two separate entries. So what we did was at least two separate entries. So what we did was we took the escape room games. These are all cooperative games, and we lumped them into one. On reflection, I think we should have at least separated at least Exit and Unlock, because those are my two favorites. Those are the two that would have made the list. The other ones are okay. They're fun times, but like those, I think the Exit series and the Unlock series rise above. But they're here, and we're talking about them now. It's our number 38. Higher on your list, so maybe you can talk a little bit about your experiences with them.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying about putting Unlock and Escape together, but I mean, at the end of the day, they do the same sort of thing. It is a game full of puzzles that you can only play once. Whether you destroy the game or you go through the cards and you know the story. Either way, you're playing it once, and I don't mind it being lumped in one category. Because if you ask me to pick which one I prefer out of Exit and Unlock, I'm not entirely certain which one I would pick. I've got Unlock 3 sitting on my table, actually, still to play. I've got this, and I think the other two of this new set of Exits still to play. That's why it's still got the Chaos Cards price tag on it, because I haven't even taken out its shrink yet. It's just trying to find the time. Hopefully I'll play one tomorrow. But yeah, last words. But no, I like these things. They're good puzzles. I have now started doing some escape rooms, proper escape rooms. You know, locally, Portsmouth and Southampton, I've got a few. In fact, we're going to one in Southampton early June for a friend's birthday again. And yeah, we get a kick out of it. It's a good way. It's an expensive way to spend an hour, but it's a fun way to spend an hour.
Escape rooms are not cheap, man.
Yeah, really but this is like a cheap way of doing an escape room. You just do it with the cards. Yeah, you got the funky wheel with these ones, and I like the system in Unlock. I think the card system is clever. Not every scenario for Unlock's been perfect, but I think most of them have still given me enjoyment, and these next three look pretty sweet. Yeah, it's just, you know, occasionally I like to solve a few puzzles, and, you know, even if some of them do make me kind of go, how am I supposed to wear that? Get some hints. You know, you can carry on, and it kills a good 60 to 90 minutes, usually closer to 90 by the time I finish these. Just playing it solo, and it's a good solo bit of puzzle fun, and for what, like a tenner each, so half the price of a typical escape room game, and I can get two of these. You know, sorted. You know, friends.
I love it as a low player count game. I brought it over to a friend's house, lay down an Unlock or whatever it is, and just pound it out. Really, really fun. I actually think it struggles at higher counts because it's always some people who are better at solo or better at puzzle solving, and the other people just checking their phones and doing whatever. I don't know why people are like, oh, we have to play this with the whole family. Unless your whole family's a bunch of genius puzzle solvers. Or like, you know, you're in charge of folding the paper or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's not worth it. The first one I ever played, I think, was actually a 4-player one I did with friends, and it was alright, but one person felt like they didn't have much to do when 3 people were looking at a puzzle, or even when 2 people were looking at puzzles. So 2 or 3 players would be the max I'd want to play this with, but personally, I'm just happy enough to play it solo, maximum 2, because there's just not enough physical components for someone to hang on to with regards to playing this game, and that's always a bit of a killer. I mean, I think it goes up to 6. I can't imagine why you would play an Exit game with 6. Yeah, rubbish.
All right. So that was the escape room genre of games is our number 38. So we did not do this on purpose. I guess we like the next game we're talking about in an equal amount. We put the puzzle solving games together back to back. So like we went from the escape room games to solving some cases. Sherlock Holmes, consulting detective. Wait, is it there? Is it there? He got it.
The Asmodee version, yeah. So like, just in case no one recognizes the cover.
There it is. Yeah, so this is Sherlock Holmes, consulting detective. I actually do you like with the Exit series? It's not really a game. In this particular case, you're like solving cases or whatever it is. So you get like these books and books and books. You read through them, and you have to like really read through carefully what the clues are and everything in order to solve the cases. Luke, this is a little bit higher on your list. I like these fine. I'll play them anytime. I guess I struggle with the fact that there's like what's the game of this thing
Not
as
so
opposed to
much.
just being an activity.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a game. I mean, yeah, you're all right. It is mostly an activity and involves a lot of reading. If you want to learn how to read or teach people how to read, get them this. It's ridiculous. Right. But I haven't even finished all of these cases yet. I've done a few, but yeah, they take a while to finish. That's the thing. It's another time aspect. And again, you could play this with multiple players. Some people have done it in party settings. Why? So, I suppose there's a bit more in here for the players to do, but yeah, it's a lot of people in a group reading. I'm not sure that's a fun way to spend a group party together. But yeah, I just do it solo, but I like a good deduction novel. I think it comes from those choose your own adventure books a bit. Yes. I like Sherlock Holmes as an IP anyway. I love the series. I've read some of the books. Always quite marveled at, like, I don't know, I just kind of respect the intelligence thing. But with this, I just like how detailed it is. You know, you get the newspaper clippings, you get the map, you get the address book full of random people from the Sherlock Holmes setting who may or may not even be relevant to this case. The
probably
newspaper
not.
has read it. So there's a lot to it.
Probably not relevant.
Yeah. There's only one caveat I do make with this game, and I think a lot of people do. It's got this silly little thing about the scoring part at the end, where it's like, score yourself and rank yourself against Sherlock. Forget that and throw that in the bin. You will never, if anybody out there says they've done a case and managed to equal or beat what Sherlock does it in, I think you're lying. Pure lying. Because you have to be positively clairvoyant in order to actually get a Sherlock Holmes score. So I just ignore the fact he's even there. Just accept, look, you're a genius, okay, big head, we like you. But I just try to see, look, did I get the case right? Did I get enough clues? And what did I miss? And if not, I just at least got a good story out of it, because you're essentially reading a novel while you're doing this. It's not just simply yes or no questions. It legitimately is, I've read pretty much a short story in the time it's taken me to do this, and I got to have some fun puzzle solving while I'm at it, and realise that I'm not as good at this as I thought.
So that was Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, hour number 37. Let's get back to the real games, though. So this is one of those games that is a one-verse mini game that we are including on the list. I personally love this game, although I rated it very low. It's on 79 on my list. Luke just went whole hog and went 17. We're talking about Not Alone over here. So this is a one-verse mini game. Luke, you want to tell him what the game's all about?
Not Alone. Won it. A bunch of people crash landed on a planet. You're all the survivors working together. There's one alien or entity, essentially, trying to succumb you to the planet, absorb you all, or whatever, eat you. You're not entirely certain. Assimilate. Yeah, you're not entirely certain what its plan is. It's just it wants to do something to you, and you'll probably regret it.
Right.
But it's a great little all versus one. The alien's trying to hunt you down. You're trying to last long enough for the rest of your ship to get there, and it's very much getting into your opponent's head as you're scouting around these different locations, playing cards to dodge the alien's hunting attacks. But your hand of cards gets whittled down, so eventually they start figuring out, well, it's unlikely you're going to go there. You've only got 2 cards left, so you're going to be here or here. So the alien starts picking on you. They've got loads of nasty cards that screw you over like crazy, but then the survivors have also got some good cards to use back. And it's just basically a cat and mouse game with a timer attached, a victory point track where the 2 points are going, and whoever gets to the middle first wins. It's definitely, I think, skewed in favor of the alien. I think I have seen far more times the alien as won compared to the survivors.
I've gotten my butt kicked as the alien, though, like rocked. You just have to get that past that initial, the alien has to kind of miss you a couple times, and once you get your power ups, then the survivors just kind of run around.
It does vary. I mean, it depends on the power ups they get. If they get certain ones, it is a bit of a mission. And sometimes the alien can just draw the rubbish cards, but he can draw some pretty nasty ones as well. So it can go both ways, but I've definitely seen more alien victories than that. Doesn't bother me, though, because at the end of the day, the survivors have got to cooperate to win. There is no Lone Ranger. You can't let one guy get eaten on behalf of the rest. You've all got to work together whilst not giving too much information to this alien. I've been really enjoying that game. It's not seen the table in a little while, mainly because I think I'm being patient and waiting for the expansion to be UK released, so that I can shove that into it and that'll give it a new lease of life. But yeah, this is a good one, and yeah, we're stretching the boundaries on that cooperation thing, but on the basis that I thought, yeah, you know what, there's pretty much plenty of cooperation in here, I decided I'd rate it, as highly as I wanted to. So.
There you go. It feels like poker. Like if you're playing poker, the different people are playing against the alien. Like you're really trying to get into the alien's head. You're really trying to figure out, okay, where's that alien going to put the alien token so that I can avoid it? And the alien's trying to figure out, well, this person is trying to do this and this person's trying to do that. So that first phase of just like figuring out what the other party is going to do is excellent.
Yeah.
The only reason I rated it low is because I actually disagree on the amount of cooperation there is in this game, because I think if the players like talk, they're at a disadvantage because the alien's going to figure out, oh, they're right there, so I'm just going to inspect them. So I've had plenty of games where I'll be the alien and I'm usually teaching, so I'm usually the alien, and then the other players are just kind of like playing and they win or lose together, but they don't actually work together. So that's the only thing. Like, but other than that, I adore this game. It's a great lunchtime game. Just like play. Put it down there. 15 minutes. Very low overhead. It sets up really quickly. I can't say enough good stuff about this game.
I'm not lucky enough to ever know what the definition of a lunchtime game is. Sadly, in the UK, unless you work for Asmodee, which why did I give up that idea for a job? But I should have applied for it. But like lunchtime at my work or something, that's never going to happen. It's like there are very few places in the UK, I think, where you can legitimately get lunchtime board games going. I just don't think the mentality or the appreciation for them is quite widespread enough as it probably would be in the States.
Well, I work as a psychotherapist. I work through my lunches. I got clients up through my wazoo. I'm talking about, like, I got friends who are programmers and they're working in, like Google. Like if you're in Google, you got all sorts of time. Just Google, lay that down in a conference room and
you get to nap at Google. I mean, that's
you're
ridiculous.
Good to go.
I want to work for Google.
That was our number 36, not alone. 35. Let's get back to the pure co-ops. This game was pretty hot a couple of years ago. It's now kind of reached a point where you're not going to hear a lot about it. It's not like a bunch of people are going to be talking about it, but expansions are coming, and the dedicated fans of this game are really, really happy with it. I am talking about Elder Sign, Fantasy Flight over here. So this is another Arkham game. We've already talked about some Arkham games. There's some more coming, believe you me. This game is the dice game. So the way this game works, it's pretty simple. You have some custom dice, and the dice depict all sorts of actions that you can do. You're going to roll these dice, and you're going to use them to solve some cases. The cases are these cards. They're like, I think in the original game is like a grid of 6, something like that, and you can pick which, and then you can pick which case, quote unquote, that you want to solve. In the beginning game, and I have the first 2 expansions in here. I have Unseen Forces and the Gates of Arkham.
You've at least got gates. Good, right?
Yes. So the first game, you're in Arkham. You're in Arkham, and there's cards all over the place, and you're just trying to solve the cards one at a time. It's Yahtzee mechanics, so you have to get 2 tentacle symbols and 1 key symbol or whatever it is, or like 7 key symbols. And you're rolling, and it's a Richard Launius game, so he doesn't care whether you enjoy this or not. You can fail this game right away really fast. Normally, I don't love that, but I mean, when it's dice and it's cards and there's a pretty decent story, it's a neat game. When it first came out, when you get to the second expansion, Gates of Arkham, then it really kicks into high gear. So they basically redid the whole system. Like, I mean, not like a whole new game, but now instead of just you're in the museum solving cases, now you're in the quote unquote streets of Arkham, and the stories flow better. Like there's a whole new set of cards, and you can, some of the cards start face down, and if you go to a face down thing, then an effect happens, and like you'd be surprised how much that makes a big difference. Like, you can actually have agency as opposed to like, okay, I'm going to go to this easy quest, get a thing, do the quest, and then, get some rewards and everything. It's just like that step that they introduced was really cool. They also revamped the Outer Worlds mechanisms. So like you can actually, the Gates of Arkham. So you can actually put gates on top of the different cards, and, you can't solve the case until you solve the gate or whatever it is. Really, really turned the game on its head and turned it into something that's really enjoyable. Since then, we have the Omens series of expansions, Omens of Ice, Omens of the Deep, Omens of the Pharaoh. I haven't gone that far because there's just so much to play, but like I would actually I'm actually really curious about it. If I ever see them on discount, like, like at an auction or something, I will pick them up and I will play them. I do have a lot of fun with Elder Sign. Had a lot of fun with the app too. It's a really, really good app.
Yeah, the app's pretty decent in that. And I wish I still owned this one actually, but the problem is it's quite expensive to get base set and gates and then more expansions on top, especially as I would probably only end up playing this 1 to 2 players max, because you play above 3 and it's kind of pointless.
Right.
There's only so much, and it goes up to 8. That's ridiculous. but if I had not played gates, this would probably have been the equivalent of our legendary Marvel and of that. I would have probably only just put it on the list because I had played the original Elder Sign, I had played it with too many players, and I thought, yeah, this takes way too long for a dice game. It's pretty abstract. It's okay, but nothing special. Then I did play Gates, and it's like, okay, you've pretty much just told the base set to scrap half the components and put these new ones in and rules. But oh my god, it works so well. And now, as each of these expansions come out, it's like, okay, now you're actually being really thematic with this dice game. I'm almost tempted, but yeah, you'd have to give me some spare time and a bit of extra cash. Not to mention have them all in print, because that's always the hardest bit. It's like, all right, I'll go get it now. Oh, base set's out of print, or Gates is out of print, and it's a bit of a nightmare. They really do need to do a big box set of all these Elder Sign ones. That would probably be quite cool. I couldn't care less about Unseen Forces, but I think I can skip
white dice. You gotta have the white dice.
I suppose, yeah, but it's just like you want the Gates first.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd always say get that first before you get the other expansions.
Yeah, so get it with at least Gates of Arkham, and then if you want to jump in with the Omen series and everything, so really, really cool story. It's pretty pricey because they, like as Luke said, they do replace basically every deck, and half the game, 3/4 of the components you're getting are these cards, big stacks of cards like this. So you're replacing that with every single expansion, so you're in for some cost. But hey, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. That is Elder Sign. Elder Sign is our number 35.
Actually, I could get the Elder Signs. I could probably fit it in that spare section I had in the vault. Join my legendary games.
There it is. Or your Arkham games. Even more reason to break your back picking that thing up.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it could probably fit in there as well.
All right. So number 34 is a classic. It is rated a little bit low on my list because I rated number 68. Because it's, I've played it a whole bunch, and I don't know if it stands up to multiple plays, but Luke rated it pretty high. It is his number 28. I'm talking about Forbidden Island, real classic of the genre.
All right, Luke,
you enjoy.
What's up? It's a good one. I mean, I again don't own it because I own its sequel personally. But whenever I'm doing charity events with the game, like Portsmouth Dice Game Cafes or Portsmouth Comic Con I did a couple of weeks back, Forbidden Island is always on that shelf with at least 2 copies, because I know that somebody is going to be in a situation where they played nothing before, or they just want to co-op, they got like them and their little kid with them, and this is like the easiest thing to pull out, so much so that the 2 colleagues I work with have forgotten how to play it, and I just give them the box, and if I'm busy doing something else, and just go, dude, it's Forbidden Island, you can learn this in 5 seconds, and literally just give them the rule book, and that's all they need, especially if they've got knowledge of Pandemic or the other Forbidden series. But it's just simplicity and cheapness in a box, and even though it's not one that I'm going to suddenly go, oh yeah, I want to play Forbidden Island, just myself with a couple of gamer friends or something, I can't not give it props for being just probably one of the best co-ops you can have in a gateway game collection.
Right. Excellent for families. Excellent. It's like, my Daddy's Little Scythe or Daddy's Little Stone Age or whatever it is. This is Daddy's Little Pandemic. It is an excellent game, excellent production. And you're going to move past this. Obviously, this is your gateway into the larger co-ops, but it makes this list this high because, like Luke said, you're always going to find yourself in a position where you're with newer gamers, where you're with families, and you just want a quick co-op experience. Boom, there you go. That is Forbidden Island, which is our number 34. Number 33, I used to own. So actually, it's funny because these next 3 games, Elder Sign, then Forbidden Island, and then our number 33 are all excellent app games. So all of them excellent app games. The app for this game is so good that I sold my base copy because I said, I'm never going to play the base copy again. I like the app so much. This game is Paperback by Tim Fowers. There you go. So this game is not a natural co-op. It is actually competitive in its base version, but there is a co-op mode in here that I personally prefer. So like we said, we're not just going to take all of our favorite games and say, oh, it has a co-op mode. Like we're just going to put it on there. No, we need the co-op mode to be good, either as good or better than the base game. And I think that that is true for Paperback. So it was a little bit higher on your list, so maybe you could tell us about why you enjoy it. Number 22 on yours, number 67 on mine.
Yeah, I'm just thinking actually, we had very similar ratings for these last three. I'm in the 20s, you're in the 60s. Is it purely just because of the app that you've rated them a bit lower?
Yes. Because what happens is you play the game and you have a lot of fun. You play the app and then you burn out. Because you could just get game after game after game after game after game. So like if there was no apps, they'd probably float a little bit higher. So maybe I'm just like full from like Thanksgiving dinner or whatever it is.
If I had enough time to play the apps, I've got the apps. It's just over finding 5 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to actually play some of them, or longer with some of the apps. But yeah, I haven't sold this one yet. I mean, I played it the other week actually. There was 4 of us. It was a bit much for a game of Paperback, but they'd never played it before. My girlfriend was there. I wanted to show her this, and I'm trying to remind, she said she sort of liked it, so I'm trying to hurry up and usher her back into playing it 2-player with me, because that would be good. But because the idea being that I would expect her to be able to do the spelling, whereas I'm not the best with vocabulary, so I'd expect to do better with the deck building side.
So we should probably say this is a deck building word game. So it's
spell words with deck building. Scrabble
that's
with
all
deck
it is.
building. But it works so well as a weird concept. But there is the co-op mode in here. It's not just simply going against points. The co-op mode has you setting out a bunch of these fame cards out in a big pyramid, and you've got a certain amount of time before they sort of start whittling away, but you need to stop that happening by spelling out enough words or enough big words together with what the hands you've got. So yeah, you're essentially like working together to try and come up with some decent words with the pair of you or whatever as a group, and that seems to work better, I think, sometimes than the actual head-to-head version, unless you're playing with gamers. If you're playing with someone new, the co-op one's pretty good, because you just got to say, look, you may not get all the deck building stuff, but can you spell words? Good. Well, then you're going to get most of this game. Have you only ever played Scrabble? Well, poor you, but you can at least play this good game. So it's stuff like that. Yeah. It's a good solid one.
Really, really good. So that is Paperback, our number 33.
I don't think I've played the app very much, though.
There you go. No, the app is completely excellent. I love it. Okay, so the next game is another of our one verse many entries. This is the highest of our one verse many entries. It is my personal favorite. I imagine it's Luke's favorite as well. Very, very similar rating from us in the 40s, 46 for me, 46 for Luke, 42 for me, 32 overall. Specter Ops. This is a really hot game when I was like really, really getting into the hobby, and I played it. I'm like, whoa. So maybe it's a little bit of like, this is my first love when it comes to these hiding games. I definitely find that different people prefer different versions of the one verse many things. So like some people prefer Fury of Dracula. Some people prefer Letters from Whitechapel. I am into the Specter Ops. Just, I don't know, like the spatial, the grid movement just really works for me. The looking, because if everyone has like Fury of Dracula, you're moving along points on a map, and the points themselves don't really interact as much. But if you're in that grid system, and so I should probably explain what it is. So like you are
Metal Gear Solid, the board game.
Metal Gear Solid, the board, and that's probably another thing. Metal Gear Solid is probably my top 5. The first one, Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 2, I think it was one of my top 5 games of all time. Love that. I've played that game a million times. So then it's one person, and you're sneaking into the lab, and you're keeping track of your stuff secretly. So you're kind of on grid movements, and you're kind of writing stuff down. I'm at C4. I'm at 11N or whatever it is, and the rest of the troop are guards, and you are trying to deduce where the person is sneaking to. So eventually, as you go in, you're going to quote unquote hack some servers. When you hack a server, you become visible, or at least people know where you are, and then. Well, they know what got hacked, basically. So, like, they're kind of like, oh, you're around there somewhere. And then you have to kind of recalibrate and chase them down and everything. You have to do a certain amount of damage before they hack all 4 terminals and leave. Takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Flies by every single time. Real cooperation among the guards, whoever the guards choose to be. Like, real genuine, like, okay, you go this way, you go this way. Oh, he went there, he went there. The powers are cool. one of my friends really can't stand the game because of one item from one of the one of the guys, the J or whatever it is. There's like a really confusing item. I think the game is pretty popular for having confusing items.
Okay.
That are like kind of weird on the rules. Like the J is the one that makes like multiple images of herself and they kind of run around all over the place. It's really confusing, really like, oh, I don't even know what to do with this thing. Fine, take that. Don't even play with that thing if that makes you upset.
Just take the item out. I mean, it's the theme. The theme sets it. Yeah.
Amazing theme, amazing execution of gameplay. The grid system really works. I will play. I've not played Specter in a long time because there's too much to play. That is the only reason why I haven't played Specter. If somebody says let's play Specter, I am there, front and center. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I wish it could be a little shorter because it does get to that 2-hour mark. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, you're not waiting too long unless you're the agent going in. Then you sometimes have to wait for the other players to finish discussing. But then you get that tense moment of I'm hidden, you don't know where I am. And yeah, suddenly you do. And it does work without. The grid system is a little bit easier to follow. It's not as complex as Fury of Dracula, which is a big plus. It doesn't take as long as Fury of Dracula was a big plus. And even though it takes about the same amount of time, although I would actually say a bit less than Letters from Whitechapel, it's infinitely more interesting than Letters from Whitechapel. So it's kind of...
Hey, people like it. I mean, I have a friend who they prefer Letters from Whitechapel. They get it. They like playing the Jack the Ripper thing and everything.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just, like I say, it just feels a little bit dryish in a sense. You've got that map, and it does take forever sometimes. I mean, you can get some people that will chart this thing out, and it's just like ridiculous. With that one, the Specter Ops, though, I can see it from here actually. The whole Metal Gear Solid theme, everyone can role play their characters with the guards because they've all got unique, like the werewolf, like the sort of wolf one or something sniffing around, and it's still tense. And I think everyone just gets into that theme more rather than saying we're going to be policemen or Jack the Ripper and detectives or something. People get more into something like I can be Dracula or you can be this ridiculous weird mutant thing. It's a lot more better. Right.
Very cool. So that is Specter Ops, our highest one-verse minigame by far. We both love it. Number 32. Number 31 was a big surprise for me. I just played this right under the wire in terms of me and Luke combining our lists. And I didn't think anything of it. It was one of those things that came and went in 2017, and I just like, oh, I remember that game. It had a cool name. We're just gonna do that. Let me just play it. And I played it, and I was completely blown away. This is let me see what the number is. Number 27. That's really high for me. Luke's number 60. Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time.
This really came and went.
It came and went. I mean, it's on sale all the time at like Cool Stuff or Fun Again or whatever it is. This game is a gem, at least for me anyway. I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. So it's a heist game. It's kind of that, we have another game that's a heist game that's a little bit higher that we enjoy. But I enjoy heist games in general. I enjoy like kind of getting in there, sneaking around, and like in this particular version of the game, you're sneaking around the Professor Evil, who's like stolen things from time, and they're just kind of like popping up in these different rooms. So he has like the study and the vault and all this, these different artifacts like the Crystal Skull and the Excalibur. They're all kind of appearing and disappearing. You have to go in and you have to steal them before the professor goes around and kind of puts them away or whatever it is. So it's a race. It's a definite race. There's a little time wheel in the middle that kind of tracks all the different comings and goings of the treasures. So it really is time pressure sensitive. What I like about this game so much, besides the fact that it's a heist game, is that's random. It is super random, but I'll tell you how it deals with the randomness. There are times when the randomness of the professor, because the professor is an actual piece that moves around, you will have everything set up. You'll be able to steal something. Like you have to manipulate switches and do whatever. You can't just walk in and steal it. You have to set things up in order to be able to steal it. And sneak out, just tripping the lasers and everything. The professor will roll the dice on one person's turn and just eradicate all of your plans. It'll just do it. But you have a card system and you have a special power that you can unlock along the way that you can kind of directly counter what the professor does and just feel awesome doing it. So the professor will do something and then it's like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then you realize, oh, if I do this power and this thing on my card and my 3 actions, I can just I can do that again. So the swings, the mood swings that you have in this game are amazing. I have had most of my games come down to the wire. Most of my games, I'm snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. I love how they played out that mechanical balance. The theme is cool. I will always, always, always play a game of Professor Evil whenever it hits the table.
Yeah,
You're not as impressed.
I get the reasons. I mean, I put it 60, so I still gave it props after I played it. I have to admit, you're a bit more interested in the randomness that this has than I was, because I did find that sometimes I mean, you mentioned that you can do a special ability in free actions and then undo what they've done. Not often do you have the convenience of conveniently all I need is one turn to undo it. Sometimes you can be set back a lot because the guy just happened to walk by, flip half the switches back, or just happened to waltz into your chamber because of some other effect. And it can be a little bit demeaning where you've got that plan and then suddenly boom, out. And I know that can happen with a lot of other co-op games, particularly the deck builder stuff I had before, but with those, I've got more of a story or more of a theme attachment than this one. I still think it was pretty well produced. I still think it was half decent. I think just with that cool name, and even the Dice Tower lot were going mad for it. It's like, oh yeah, we're really looking forward to this one. I don't know nothing about it. It's just got a cool name. After I played it, I thought, okay, this is a half decent co-op, but I get that with the randomness in it, I felt that this was going to be a flash in the pan or something. I thought that this was going to come, it's going to fly under the radar, and nobody's going to know it. And lo and behold, like I say, every time I see it, it's on sale. So it obviously didn't hit as hard as we thought.
With the name, with a name like that, it should have hit like hard. But like, I think the random. If you go on the boards, that's what people are going to say. Like, it's so random and blah 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 blah. The randomness is there. I just think this game gives you enough resources to kind of mitigate that randomness and feel awesome doing it. It gives you great highs, great lows. I totally love Professor Evil. We're going to be talking about it on the podcast soon. So hopefully, that's all you're going to hear from me about Professor Evil, even though I can go on for days and days. So, okay.
Forward. There we go.